Hey there, good afternoon, everybody. I want to welcome you here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. This is an episode of this week. The show comes out at the beginning of every week. Hopefully, I can get it in this time without losing it. Anyways, this show, usually the first show of the week, even though there is a series episode that comes out in the morning, but that's part of last week's schedule. So this week starts it off by talking about what the content of the channel is going to be for this particular week, which is May the 11th to May the 17th, episode 144 already. Yeah, this was a show I actually was going to do away with. I actually tried to do away with it a couple of years back, but I had some people that were saying, hey, what happened to that show? We liked it. So I decided, you know what, maybe I'll give it another shot. My concern was that it was always too long. However, I will try to shorten it up. So this week is, like I said, an episode that explains what's going on the channel, the content for the regular shows and for the series for the week, and if I have anything in the future that I want to talk about or anything that happened last week that need to be corrected. Really wasn't much that happened last week that I think needed correcting other than there was a few shows that were a bit on the late side, but other than that, I think it went pretty well. I think I've figured out a solution for that too, so I'm going to try to implement it and see if it works this week. Okay, so what we normally do is I'm going to talk about the first real show, I guess, the second show of the week. But actually, I've decided to move another show that normally I wouldn't do. It's not a regular show, but because I had an episode of it in mind, I decided normally I would probably put this on the Saturday. I like to do those extra shows on the Saturdays. However, my Saturday next week's going to be crammed, so I decided I'm going to move this one to Sunday, which is today. It'll come out probably around 4 o'clock. It's called The Live Experience. Now, I hadn't planned on doing this episode for a while, but since I'd watched this DVD, it's a double DVD and a double CD collection. And I watched both the DVDs and listened to both of the CDs. I decided I was going to talk about it because I liked it quite a bit. And we're talking about Steve Hackett's The Total Experience live from Liverpool. This was really good. Both the live DVD, which I thought was fantastic. I watched the whole thing. Usually you get me to watch bits and pieces of it at a time, but this time I watched it all sitting down. And then a couple of days later, I watched all of the I guess you would call it the backstage type CD, one on what he did on the back, him talking to staff, how this was produced, all that kind of stuff. And then there's 2 CDs that also come with it. So it's a 4 disc set, 2 DVDs, 2 CDs. CDs were both good. They were basically just repeats of the concert, but on so that you could listen to them without actually having to watch anything. I got this from a Laser CD. It's just absolutely great. I love it. So we're going to be doing an episode on that, on the live experience, which will come out today, probably around 4 o'clock. Okay, so the next episode up is look back at a classic rock album. That normally comes out on Monday at 8 o'clock. And the classic album, I wasn't sure I wanted to do this one. I wasn't sure if it was up to the standard that I wanted. But I listened to it a few times last week. And in a recent discussion on Decades 2, I also talked about it. And so I decided that it deserves to be there, and we're going to talk about Styx's Paradise Theater. It's a classic album for me. It was one of the original Styx albums that I owned, and I played it a lot in the time period, not so much lately. It's a bit poppy, a little more poppy than I like, but still lots of good stuff on here, so we're going to do a look back at a classic rock album on it, Paradise Theater by Styx, coming out Monday at 8 o'clock. Next up, the new mini-series that we've done. We started it last Tuesday, of course, and it included the first episode. So this will be the second episode. We're going to slightly altered the title. I had written down decades apart, but in actual fact, it's only a decade apart. So that's what we're calling it, decade apart. This will be episode 2, and it will feature this band, Triumph. This will be the beginning of that, Rock and Roll Machine, all the way up to Surveillance. The funny part is that I was at the record store last Friday and I bought 3 albums, which I added to my new albums for this month. And I looked at this one. I actually looked at another album that we're going to talk about a little bit in a few minutes as well. And I was going to purchase it and then I changed my mind, but I'll probably go back Monday and pick that up so that I have that for the thing. I've listened to this album several times online before. It's one of the listening things I do. So I'm familiar with the album. I'm familiar with most of their work, so it should be an interesting episode. So the next show, and that will come out Tuesday at 8, sorry. So the next show up is Favorites. This is a show that I do every Wednesday night in which I pick a top 5, top 10, top 25, rank some songs from an album or do a band rankings, discography, whatever. This week we're going to do a top 10. I was supposed to do a top 10 last week, but my back wouldn't allow me to sit still. So this week we're going to do a top 10 favorite rock music genres. It'll be a little bit of a different topic, not so much about music, but about their topics, about the genres which ones are my top 10 favorite. At first I thought to myself, I don't know if I like 10 genres of music. Now I think I like more than 10 genres. So anyways, I hope it'll be an interesting episode. Probably we'll get some people in there with how they like their genres, which is always a good discussion about why people like certain genres, what about them they don't like, that kind of thing. Anyways, so that will be Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. The next episode up is another new episode. This was be called Hidden Gems. And I looked through my discography for ones that I thought would fit into that. I had a couple of them in mind. And then I saw this one and I said, you know what? This album does not get enough attention. Yeah, they talk about a couple of their later albums as being good, some of the new stuff by the new vocalist. But nobody really ever talks about this album. It's Script for a Jester's Tear, their debut album by Marillion. This was my entry point into Marillion. I love this album. I had it in vinyl initially, and then when I gave my vinyl collection, I didn't have it for many years, but I do have it again now, and I wanted to talk some more about it. I do love this cover and the back cover as well quite a bit, and there's all the songs on here to me are great, just classic for them. So we're going to talk about Marillion's Script for Jester's Tear. That episode will come out Thursday at 8. So this is a bi-weekly episode. This is a show that I'm going to do bi-weekly. It's going to go bi-weekly along with Not What We Hope For, although that's getting a bit long in the tooth, so I may replace that one as well, but we'll see how it goes. And that will come out Thursday at 8. Next episode up is usually is my live stream on Friday night into the Prog verse, but I decided to switch this around because I'm finding I'm very tired on Friday. It's really hard to concentrate. I can't remember half of the things I want to say. So I'm going to move that show to the Sunday night and put the new series that Ben has come up with that we usually would go on a Sunday night because I always did the commonalities compared, and Ben's album challenge were both Sunday nights. But I find that I have more energy for the live stream if I'm not exhausted. So we will move that to Sunday night and put this new series, which is going to be called Who Did It Better, which will come out on Friday at 8 o'clock. And the song he's chosen for this week is 2000 Man, which for most of you would know that the original one came from His Majesty's Satanic, I can't remember the last word. Anyways, it's by the Rolling Stones. It came off that album and was covered on this album by Ace Frehley of Kiss on their Dynasty album. So which one did it better? That would be the first one. The album that we just talked about by the Stones was the other album I looked at the store and didn't decide to pass on it. But since I'm going to go back, I will get both of them and we'll have them both for props for the shows. Okay, so that will come out Friday at 8 o'clock. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This will be the inaugural show for this episode. Okay, so Saturday we then have 3 episodes. The first one will be Battle of the Masterpiece Albums, which we've been doing. We're on episode 10. It will feature the following 4 albums. Rush's Fly By Night from 1975. Yes's Fragile from 1972 or 71. I think it's actually 71, even though this says 72 on it, but I think it is 71. I think this might have been a different release point. Next up, Animals from Pink Floyd, 1977 release. And last but not least, the 1977 release of Heart's second or third album, depending on how you want to look at it. This is Little Queen. I love the back cover on this too. So those will be the 4 albums involved in this Battle of the Masterpieces on Saturday at 12 o'clock. Next show up at 4 o'clock, we'll do my playlist, which for those of you who know, I do this once a month. It kind of hits the halfway point between this and my new albums released. And basically, what I do is I tell you what's in my playlist that I've taken out, what new albums I've put in. Give you a top 5 at the end. Also talk about some stuff that I've been listening to, and yeah, basically that's what we do for that show. Do it once a month, so it's going to come out at 4 o'clock Saturday. It's normal slot when it comes. And then the last one, of course, is Saturday night's What's New. I've chosen to do the Flower Kings this week. Their new album called Love, which came out May the 2nd, 25. While I'm down at the record store picking up those other 2 albums, I'll look and see if they have it. I have listened to it, so I do like it. So hopefully they have it. It's not going to break my arm or leg or any other parts of me. And then we'll have it for a prop. So that is it for... Oh my God, I'm such a slob. Yeah, just soaked my book. How did that happen? Did I just miss my mouth? I must have, eh? Anyways, that's hard to believe. So that's it for the regular channel shows for the week. We also be running the series that we're running for the month of May, which is my 31 favorite new wave bands. I'm actually enjoying this. It was a surprise to me how many of these bands I actually knew. I didn't think I had originally, when I decided to put this together, I said, I may not know enough new wave bands to do this. But it turns out I had a ton more than I thought. I think there was like 50 or 60, and I chose 31 of them. And I like all of these bands. Most of the early on ones are not much apart. It's usually a song or 2 I really like by them, and I like some of their other stuff, but not too much of it. But as it gets closer to the top, the bands become more dominating and more into the album stuff going on. So that's the series we're running for the month of May. We'll be doing 7 episodes this week as well. The other next month's series I haven't decided on yet. I had one on my list that has been waiting its turn, but I think there's a couple of others I might rather do. So I haven't decided yet. I'll probably know by sometime next week. Okay, so and as far as I don't think anything in the past happened. I think I already mentioned that there wasn't really anything that went off stride this last week, other than I took the Sunday night episode off because I needed another week, and then we decided to change it so that it will come out on the Friday instead. And then, so this week there'll be no Into the Prog verse, because it will come out on the Sunday night, which will be next week. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to seeing you throughout the week and hearing from all of you. Many of you comment, which is great. I love that because it shows that you've been watching the show. It also gets me thinking about the things you say, which then give me ideas for better shows. So anyways, I hope to see you all then. Please hit the like and subscribe. You got any comments of your own, you can put them in the comments section below, and we will see you throughout the week. Take care and have yourself a good day, and goodbye.